If you were here in person on Tuesday, I was able to read aloud Tomas and the Library Lady to you. If you were home waiting to take the test later, you were assigned Tomas and the Library Lady, but there was one class that didn't get to read Tomas and the Library Lady. So I am going to go ahead and read it again and get it in our brains, okay? Before I read it, I would like for you to have a frame of reference for what we are going to be doing with Tomas and the Library Lady today, okay? So on Seesaw, your activity has not released to you yet. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see the directions. You are going to review the plot of Tomas and the Library Lady as a class, okay? The plot is the beginning, middle, and end, okay? What's happening in the beginning of the text, what's happening in the middle, what's happening in the end of the text, okay? Then we are going to discuss the characters' traits. So I want you to think about the beginning, middle, and end, and I want you to think about the traits of Tomas and the Library Lady, okay? Any questions about what you're thinking about as we're going to read? Terrence.
It wasn't about this,
Gotcha. Thanks for waiting then.
but it was about kid president.
Okay, we'll come back to that in a little bit. All righty. We are going to take a look at our text, and I'm going to switch my camera over. There we go. Okay, we're going to take a look at Tomas and the Library Lady. Zoom in a tiny bit here. So Tomas and the Library Lady by Pat Moore, I apologize, illustrated by Raul Colon. It was midnight. The light of the full moon followed the tired old car. Tomas was tired too, hot and tired. He missed his own bed in his own house in Texas. Tomas was on his way to Iowa again with his family. His mother and father were farm workers. They picked fruit and vegetables for Texas farmers in the winter and for Iowa farmers in the summer. Year after year, they bumped along in their rusty old car. Mama, whispered Tomas, if I had a glass of cold water, I would drink it in large gulps. I would suck the ice. I would pour the last drops of water on my face. Tomas was glad when the car finally stopped. He helped his grandfather, Papa Grande, climb down. Tomas said, Buenas noches, good night, to Papa, Mama, and Papa Grande, and to his little brother Enrique. He curled up in the cot in the small house that his family shared with the other workers. Early the next morning, Mama and Papa went out to pick corn in the green fields. All day they worked in the hot sun. Tomas and Enrique carried water to them. Then the boys played with a ball Mama had sewn from an old teddy bear. When they got hot, they sat under a tree with Papa Grande. Tell us the story about the man in the forest, said Tomas. Tomas liked to listen to Papa Grande tell stories in Spanish. Papa Grande was the best storyteller in the family. En un tiempo pasado, Papa Grande began, once upon a time, on a windy night, a man was riding a horse through a forest. The wind was howling, woo, and the leaves were blowing, whoosh, whoosh. All of a sudden, something grabbed the man. He couldn't move. He was too scared to look around. All night long, he wanted to ride away, but he couldn't. How the wind howled. Woo! How the leaves blew. How his teeth chattered. Finally, the sun came up. Slowly, the man turned around, and who do you think was holding him? Tomas smiled and said, "A thorny tree." Papa Grande laughed. "Tomas, you know all my stories," he said. "There are more in the library. You are big enough to go by yourself. Then you can teach us new stories." The next morning, Tomas walked downtown. He looked at the big library. Its tall windows were like eyes glaring at him. Tomas walked around and around the big building. He saw children coming out carrying books. Slowly, he started climbing up the steps. He counted them to himself in Spanish. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. His mouth felt full of cotton. Tomas stood in front of the library doors. He pressed his nose against the glass and peeked in. The library was huge. All right, so that's been the beginning so far. Okay, so we've seen the beginning. We're getting ready to get into that middle section of text. Here we go. A hand tapped his shoulder. Tomas jumped. A tall lady looked down at him. "It's a hot day," she said. "Come inside and have a drink of water." "What's your name?" she asked. "Tomas," he said. "Come, Tomas," she said. Inside it was cool. Tomas had never seen so many books. The lady watched him. "Come," she said again, leading him to a drinking fountain. "First some water, then I will bring the books to this table for you. What would you like to read about?" "Tigers, dinosaurs," said Tomas. Tomas drank the cold water. He looked at the tall ceiling. He looked at all the books around the room. He watched the lady take some books from the shelves and bring them to the table. "This chair is for you, Tomas," she said. Tomas sat down. Then very carefully he took a book from the pile and opened it. Tomas saw dinosaurs bending their long necks to lap shiny water. He heard the cries of a wild snake bird. He felt the warm neck of the dinosaur as he held on tight for a ride. Tomas forgot about the library lady. He forgot about Iowa and Texas. "Tomas, Tomas," said the library lady. Tomas looked around. The library was empty and the sun was setting. The library lady looked at Tomas for a long time. She said, "Tomas, would you like to borrow 2 library books? I will check them out in my name." Tomas walked out of the library carrying his books. He ran home, eager to show the new stories to his family. Papa Grande looked at the library books. "Read to me," he said to Tomas. First, Tomas showed him the pictures. He pointed to the tiger. "Que tigre tan grande," Tomas said first in Spanish, then in English. "What a big tiger." "Read to me in English," said Papa Grande. Tomas read about tiger eyes shining brightly in the jungle at night. He roared like a huge tiger. Papa, Mama, and Enrique laughed. They came and sat near him to hear his story. Some days, Tomas went with his parents to the town dump. They looked for pieces of iron to sell. Enrique looked for toys. Tomas looked for books. He would put the books in the sun to bake away the smell. All summer, whenever he could, Tomas went to the library. The library lady would say, "First a drink of water, and then some new books." On quiet days, the library lady said, "Come to my desk and read to me, Tomas." Then she would say, "Please teach me some new words in Spanish." Tomas would smile. He liked being the teacher. The library lady pointed to a book. "Book is libro," said Tomas. "Libro," said the library lady. "Pájaro," said Tomas, flapping his arms. The library lady laughed. Bird, she said. So now we've seen the middle. He's really made a friend here with the library lady. On days when the library was busy, Tomas read to himself. He'd look at the pictures for a long time. He smelled the smoke at an Indian camp. He rode a black horse across a hot, dusty desert, and in the evenings he would read the stories to Mama, Papa, Papa Grande, and Enrique. One August afternoon, Tomas brought Papa Grande to the library. The library lady said, "Buenas tardes, señor." Tomas smiled. He had taught the library lady how to say, "Good afternoon, sir," in Spanish. "Buenos tardes, señora," Papa Grande replied. Softly, Tomas said, "I have a sad word to teach you today. The word is adios. It means goodbye." Tomas was going back to Texas. He would miss this quiet place, the cool water, the many books. He would miss the library lady. "My mother sent this to thank you," said Tomas, handing her a small package. "It's pan dulce, sweetbread. My mother makes the best pan dulce in Texas." The library lady said, "How nice, how very nice. Gracias, Tomas. Thank you." She gave Tomas a big hug. That night, bumping along again in the tired old car, Tomas held a shiny new book, a present from the library lady. Papa Grande smiled and said, "More stories for the new storyteller." Tomas closed his eyes. He saw the dinosaurs drinking cool water long ago. He heard the cry of the wild snake bird. He felt the warm neck of the dinosaur as he held on tight for a bumpy ride. A note about the story. Tomas Rivera was born in Crystal City, Texas in 1935. A migrant worker who valued education, Tomas Rivera became a writer, a professor, a university administrator, and a national education leader. When Dr. Rivera died in 1984, he was the chancellor of the University of California at Riverside. The campus library now bears the name of a boy who was encouraged to read by a librarian in Iowa. All right, so that is Tomas and the library lady. Now we're going to hop to our work. Daniel, something to say?
Do you speak Spanish?
Say it again.
Do you speak Spanish?
I can speak Spanish, yes. I am not fluent, but I can understand and communicate enough to function, yes. I've studied it for years. Alrighty, Tomas and the library lady character traits. So if you would please go to Seesaw, click on that activities. That will open up the new activity for you called Tomas and the library lady character traits. Okay. And it says, with your teacher, click add response. And on slide 1, we're going to review the plot of Tomas and the library lady. On slide 2, we're going to discuss what character traits are and share some examples. And on slides 3 and 4, we're going to discuss and record sections of the text to prove or disprove character trait statements about the library lady. Okay, go ahead and add your response. I cannot stop yawning. I need some water, like Tomas did. Yes, Terrence.
I speak Spanish longer than you.
Cool, dude. All right, next one. It says, discuss. What is the plot of Tomas and the library lady? Remember, plot describes the beginning, middle, and end of a story. So right here, we've got a beginning. What's going on in the beginning of our story? What's happening at the beginning? Daniel, what's going on at the beginning of Tomas and the library lady?
He's going to see. Wait, where is he going again?
Yeah, he's going back and forth. Let's look in the text. I think it's between Iowa and Texas. He goes back and forth between Iowa and Texas.
Yeah, he's going back and forth between those two places.
Mm-hmm. Is he happy about it?
No,
Why not?
because he says the car.
Yeah, he
He
said
gets bored inside the car.
he does. He gets bored inside the car. The car is hot. He wishes he had water. So those are very long car trips, and Tomas gets very bored. Okay, so at the beginning, Tomas is driving, and he's not driving, he's riding, and he gets very bored very quickly. Okay, so that is our beginning. Let's take a look at the middle of our text. What happened in the middle of Tomas and the library lady? What's going on there? Camille, what happened in the middle of Tomas and the library lady?
Tomas was teaching the library lady Spanish,
Yeah. And what was the library lady doing for Tomas?
giving him free books.
Yeah. So they kind of had a little trade. He taught her Spanish. She gave him free books. What did he do with the books when he got home, Leah? When he got home, what did he do with the books?
He kept on reading them.
Who would he read them to?
His pop.
Yeah, Papa Grande. So he'd read them to Papa Grande. Papa Grande was famous for telling stories, and now Tomas is starting to tell them. All right, at the end of Tomas and the library lady, what happened here at the end? Steve, what happened at the end of Tomas and the library lady?
Tomas had to go home.
He did. And what did they exchange?
They gave stuff from the mom's bakery to the library lady.
Mm-hmm. And what did the library lady give to Tomas?
Oh, a book.
Yeah, and if you saw in that illustration, it was a very large book, probably because she knew that Tomas had a very, very, very long ride. So that is a lot of pages in that book. So she was probably thinking of the fact that he would be in that car for a very long time. So the fact that at the beginning he was bored in the car, as Daniel pointed out, connects to the end of the story where the library lady is thinking about Tomas because of that. Okay. All right, let's take a look at slide 2, please. Go ahead and hop to slide 2. These are character traits. And remember, character traits are going to describe the inside of someone's feelings, actions, sayings, and thoughts. Okay. Character traits are not able to be seen. Okay. So the fact that I have green eyes is a physical trait, it is not a character trait. Okay, I have green eyes and that could make me likable, and somebody else might have green eyes and they're evil. Okay, so green eyes don't have anything to do with your feelings, your actions, the words that you say, and what you think. Okay, so character traits are thinking about your feelings, actions, sayings, and thoughts. Okay, going fast there. Okay, connections to that. Questions? Okay. I want you to take a list at slide 2, or a look. Please take a look at the list on slide 2. Find one character trait word that you know how to explain. It doesn't have to be about Tomas. It doesn't have to be about the library lady, just a word that you know. Find one that you know and highlight it, please. Find one that you know. I know the word harsh. Find one word that you know and highlight it and think about how you could explain it to someone. Okay. I'm going to pop you into a breakout room, and in your breakout room, you are going to explain that word to your partner. Okay. So look at the word you highlighted. Here's an example. If you all were my partners, I would say, I know the word harsh. It's with the word mean, because harsh means someone who doesn't speak kind. A lot of the things that they say come across really rude and hurtful, so we call that harsh. Okay, and then I'd listen to you tell me your word. All right, any questions about what you're getting ready to do? Okay, here come your. All righty, so you have come back from your breakout rooms where you were able to share an example of a character trait that you understand and know. We're going to get more and more familiar with character traits as we continue this practice. But for now, we're going to talk specifically about the character traits that apply to our characters of focus, Tomas and the library lady. Okay, go ahead and hop to slide 3 if you would, please. This says we're going to complete this together. Together, we're going to describe the library lady using character traits. Independently later, you are going to describe Tomas using character traits. Okay, so let's take a look at slide 3. It says, character, the library lady. Character trait statement. The library lady is generous. Write down how the library lady feels and acts, or what she says or thinks to prove she is generous. Okay? Generous means that you like to share or to give other people things, whether it's your time, whether it's money, whether it's your toys that you're sharing. You like to share and give those people things. Okay? So what feelings? How do we know that the library lady felt generous? What emotions did she experience inside of the text? William?
She experienced sadness when he left.
She did, yeah. So she experienced sadness when Tomas left. She liked helping him. She liked giving him things, giving him her time, giving him the library books, and she was sad when he was going to leave and he couldn't do that. Okay, if I'm writing, you are writing, so go ahead and type that in. She felt sadness when Tomas left. Okay. You know what, let's do it this way. If you have any connection, feelings, actions, sayings, or thoughts, go ahead and share that. I'll call on you and to unmute, and you can tell me if it is a feeling, an action, a saying, or a thought that proves she's generous, okay? Terrence, how do you know that the library lady was generous?
Because she gave to Thomas. She gave her him the books without using hers.
Okay.
Her account.
Is that a feeling, an action, a saying, or a thought?
Action.
An action. That is an action. It's something that she did, okay, with her body. We could observe it. So an action is she gave Tomas books with her account. Okay, she gave Tomas books with her account. That is an action that proves she is generous. It's something generous that she did, okay? Again, if I am writing, you are writing, make sure you get those on your slide, please. Aiden G, how do you know the library lady was generous?
So it's the same in action. So she said you can have 2 books free, and she paid for them herself with her own account.
Nice. Okay. Would you like to take 2 books home? That is something that she said to Tomas that proved she was generous. Okay. She was in charge of the book. She's the librarian, and she trusted him and wanted him to have something nice, so gave it to him. Okay.
Would like to take 2 books home. That's something she said.
Also,
Tomas that proved she was generous. Okay.
There we go. Also, an action that Aiden G said went along with Terrence's, she gave Tomas books with her account. So yes, that is another way that she was generous there. Aiden G, what's like that? Oh, All right. We are having mad lag with your count, I think, Aiden G. So as soon as you're done speaking, go ahead and hit mute so it doesn't hear all of my voice going over it. Okay? All right. Go ahead, Aiden G. What else?
So she thought that he was going to have a long journey, so he had a long book.
She thought about him. Nice. So that is a generous thought that she had. She thought about his long journey. And gave him a long book. Okay. So that was a thought that she had before he was going to leave because she had to have that book ready for him. Okay. So that is a thought that proves she is generous. Very good. I'll give you a moment to get those all typed up. Camille, we're typing all of this on slide 3. And you're still on slide 1, I think it is, sis. You need to hop to slide 3 and get yourself caught up. Okay. Next, we're going to take a look at a statement that is not true about the library lady. So sometimes people will say something about somebody that's not true. And we're going to figure out how to come up with evidence that proves that that's not correct. Okay. So we've said here, the library lady is generous. Now we're going to look at one that shows what the library lady is not. Okay. Let's take a look at slide 4. This says the library lady is hateful. That's not true. Okay. A lot of times people will say something about someone that's not true, and we've got to think about their feelings, their actions, what they say, and their thoughts to see if it's correct. So let's prove that the library lady is not hateful. Write down how the library lady feels and acts and or what she says or thinks to prove she is not hateful. How do we know the library lady is not hateful? Leah?
Because she gave Thomas 2 books.
Is that a feeling, an action, a saying, or a thought?
Action.
An action. Yeah, definitely an action that proves she's not hateful. If you're a hateful person, you don't do nice things for people. Okay, so she gave Thomas 2 books. Okay, if she hated him, she would not give him something. Okay, at least something kind anyway. Camille, how do you know that the library lady is not hateful?
Because he didn't even hurt him or even be mean to him.
Okay, so is that a feeling, an action, a saying, or a thought?
Action.
Action. Yep. So her body language was kind. Remember when she gave him water? That was a way that her actions were kind. Camille said she wasn't mean to him. She actually was really kind. She gave him water. She saw he was hot. He probably was sweaty, had a redder face, and she said, hey, you need some water. Camille, you also talked about what she said. She never said anything hateful. She said a lot of kind words. Okay? She said a lot of kind words. What other proof that we have that the library lady is not hateful? Terrence?
Because her feelings, she knew he had a long trip, so she gave him books.
Nice. So her feelings, she felt for him and what he was going through. So she showed empathy in the way that she thought for him. Excellent. Let me get these copied up here. There we go. So thoughts. Thought about his long trip and gave him a book. Okay, so she knew probably that he didn't like being in the car, or she just guessed and decided to be kind to him. Okay, perfect. All right. Now, feelings, I'm thinking about a page in the text specifically that I feel like you can see her feelings. Okay, look here. Look at the way she's holding him. She's holding him pretty tight. Okay, she's also kind of like smiling like as she's holding him. So I can tell by her feelings that she likes Tomas. Okay, she likes him a lot. So I'm going to put that in feelings. Okay, so we know that she likes him because she hugs and smiles. That's evidence of the feelings, okay? So these are ways that we can prove someone's character traits are, and ways we can prove what someone's character traits are not, okay? A lot of times people will just throw out a word and they'll say, oh, I think it's this. You got to have evidence for it. You got to have evidence to prove it, or you got to have evidence to disprove it, okay? Today, your independent work is going to be about Tomas. You have 2 slides about Tomas. Slide 5 says what Tomas is, imaginative. Think about the word imagination. Slide 6 says Tomas is rude. You're going to prove that that's not true, okay? On slide 7, you are going to come up with a word that you think describes Tomas that is not on these slides. So it can't be imaginative and it can't be rude. You're going to come up with a word that is true about him and then come up with proof that he is that word, that character trait, okay? So on slide 5, prove that Tomas is imaginative. On slide 6, prove that Tomas is not rude. And on slide 7, prove that Tomas is a word that you choose, okay? Also, please notice you don't have to have something in every single section, okay? I do want you to have, go ahead and grab a pen or something. I want you to have at least 3 pieces of evidence on each slide, okay? If you can't think of a feeling, that's fine. Then you have actions, thoughts, and sayings. If you can only think of 2 actions, that's fine. You can do a thought or a saying, but you have to have 3 pieces of evidence on each slide. 3 pieces on slide 5, 3 pieces on slide 6, and 3 pieces on slide 9, okay? You don't have to fill in every single box, but you have to have at least 3. Any questions about that expectation? Terrence.
I submitted mine on accident. Can
I
you
can send it back to you.
send it back?
No problem at all, sir. Aiden G, a question?
At 2:20, can we do a writing contest and see who writes better?
We actually cannot. Remember, I announced yesterday I have to drive my mom to get a surgery today. So there's no office hours or 2:20 Zoom. Okay, because I'm leaving at lunch to take my mom to get her surgery.
And tomorrow, can we?
We can see about it. I don't know
Hope
how that would
she
work
feels
very well.
better.
Thank you. All right, guys, this is your independent work today, slides 5, 6, and 7.